We'll go to the Chief Financials Officer's report.
Okay, I would like to highlight the April 2019 monthly financials. The first report is on Board Book page 12. It is the monthly report. We're 10 months in. This is 83% of our fiscal year. Our total monthly revenue for the month was $1.2 million. Operating revenue for the 10 months is at 97% of budget. It's tracking right at what the budget amount is. With it, the state did make another payment that you'll see in May, and we're still getting our evidence-based funding, so we should be right at what was budgeted on that. And then we also got to hope to get the county to release a few more property tax dollars, which will bring it up. If we look at the highlight of the revenues, you can see property taxes were roughly $500,000, and then we got some state payments in April with the special ed private facility and the special ed transportation reimbursement. On the expenditure side, we had total monthly expenditures of $1.9 million. We're at 81% of budget, which is pretty much tracking exactly where we have it, with 2 months left to go on it. Largest expenditures for the district are our salary and benefits at $1.5 million. And our out-of-district tuition for special education students is $118,000 for the month. At the end of April, operating fund balance is sitting at $19.2 million. The board did restrict $3 million in working cash. This was for the potential land acquisition for the baseball fields with the county for the zoo.
Mr. Jacobs had asked a question on that. Had submitted a question on that. So when the board approved the $3 million in working cash, I think they also passed a resolution that said that it was to be prioritized for land acquisition or field enhancements for the school district. Working cash money could eventually be used for general operating expenses, so they wanted to make sure it wasn't seen as just putting money out there to spend. It was designated for a specific project.
This was passed in 2018, correct?
Correct, the fall of 18, October.
Okay.
And then typically, so the board would see that, so these are the April 30th financials from the treasurer's office. So Scott, us being at 81% of budget, a big chunk of that will be all of May and all of June payroll, correct?
Yes.
Which will get you closer to your 100%
100% of it. Mm-hmm. If we move on to the financial statements that start on page 13, the first page highlights our beginning balances with revenue year to date and expenditures year to date to the end of April. There was a question submitted in regards to capital projects, why it was so low with it. There was an approved $200,000 transfer in the original budget. The board elected only to transfer $50,000 of it to cover architect fees for renderings of what the fields would look like, being that the talks for the field really were kind of stalled.
So we originally budgeted $200,000 in case there needed to be any research work, traffic studies, anything, as we were trying to negotiate a deal, and still are, between the county and the district. The board president at the time recommended that we only do a transfer of $50,000 and see where that takes us, and then if we needed to do more, we could, since we budgeted for that. We haven't had to do any more than that at this time.
On board book page 14 on the revenue side, if you look at the percentages of the different funds out there, ed fund, we're going to be going up higher on that. We do have several payments left for our evidence-based funding formula that's out there, and then next month you will see the categoricals that receive the third payment in this particular FY19. So that will go up on that. And then transportation, we also received another special ed transportation payment, so that will go up from 88, probably much more closer to what's at budget. If we move to board book page 15 on the expenditure side, the ed fund is sitting at 81%, as Dr. Skinkins mentioned. The majority of that will be the payroll. salary and benefits, creating that, getting closer to 100% of budget. If we look at our operations and maintenance fund, we got roughly 200,000 there to play with here within the next 2 months. Fingers crossed that there's no major repairs with it. From what I can see, working with Mr. Hatchie, our facilities director, I do not see anything major with the repairs going, so hopefully right at budget on that one.
Quick question on the personnel benefits line. What's the lag on getting that reported to budget? Is that coming through that West Cook Treasurer's Office we talked about?
Yeah, it's always a month behind.
It's a month. It's 4 weeks minimum or 4 weeks plus?
Well, for example, like the treasurer's report will come out the first week of the month. So we're always reporting delay of a month.
I just heard you say April and May, so that's what I was
So what we,
confused.
so May and June, you're looking
Yeah,
at
we
the
still have
April
two-
30th. So you'll
yeah,
still
so we
you'll
still have
get
2 months.
2 months of payroll
Yeah.
and benefits.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And life safety, one on that is directly linked to our life safety amendment number 22. That was an estimate as to what we felt we could get done throughout the course of the school year without interrupting the actual flow of school. So there's several items that are on that life safety amendment 22 that have been addressed with it. And our estimate, like you said, is a little low on that, but it also has to take into effect some of the payments that will be going with the pool air handler if we do get another pay application from Mechanical Concepts. The next report is the revenue expense report. It's about 30 pages. I'm not going to go through it, but that basically shows what we budgeted and where we're sitting with the actuals after August 30th on that. Following the revenue expense report on board book page 46 through 49 is the student activity report. This report looks a little different compared to the other ones. Just for the new board members, anything that has a negative number is actually positive with it, so I know it's a little bit different look on it, but like I said, that's the student activity accounts with it. There was no question submitted on it, and I don't believe there's only a couple accounts that are in the negative on that.
When it counts in the negative, why? Usually we're waiting for fundraisers.
Either fundraisers,
reimbursement from the boosters.
Yes.
Just so you can make sure to clarify it with the board.
And then on board book page 55 is the third quarter rental report. I left it off till the new board came on just so they can see what we are getting for rental from the different activities that are out there with it. On here, it basically highlights what we're paying in personnel costs. They have custodial
51.
and security at
What
these
page is
different.
that again? 51. Thank you.
Is it 50 or 51?
Yeah.
Okay. I heard you say 55, so I went to the
Oh,
wrong page.
okay. Yeah, page 50. But that's a good summary of everything that we have with the revenue that we generate from the different areas within the school here.
And there was a question submitted. This summer, we're losing between $3,000 and $5,000 roughly with the bullets for not being able to do.
I probably would think it'd be less than that.
Okay.
Summertime is.
They have their swim lessons also.
Yeah, it's not as busy with it. So I'd probably say more like 1,500
Okay.
to 2,000 with the pool being closed for that month.
Is that a rental by day of usage, or what's the,
Yes,
what are the
it's
terms
by,
of the agreement?
it's by usage.
Yeah.
And for the third quarter, there was a surplus of 9,500. And then for the overall year to date, the surplus is 44,000 after paying out your expenses for everything.
Any questions for Scott? Okay, that's it for our reports from the administration.
All right, this time we'll do visitor statements. Since I don't, Bob, you want to say anything?
No comment.
All right.
Julie, do you? No?
All right, we'll skip that.